Right, what have I got today? It's a tiny one today, so if I throw that down there, it's hardly taking up any of the screen. Just a very quick overview here, because I've only carried this for a few weeks, and with tools, I understand it takes, sometimes months before you think, well, I like this, I don't like that. So this is a very brief overview of the PB Swiss tools, and the model is PB169.V01. .V01, I'm pointing this out because there is a V02. The difference is on this one you get 3 blades. It's a precision screwdriver here. You get your 3 reversible blades. They're double-ended, so you've got the Phillips end and you also have a slot there on each of them. Bear in mind that the V02 also has I think it's called pentalobe. That's not the same as, now let's have a look. I do have, so here's a Torx. I'm not talking about Torx. So Torx has the 6 points, so you can see there, hang on, there. So you've got 3 on the bottom, 3 on the top. That's your Torx, so it'll have like a T and then a number, so this happens to be T25. Pentalobe's different, it has 1 less. You find it on like Apple devices and things like that, because typical Apple, let's make our own thing so we can try and rip everyone off, I presume, I don't know. Although, to be fair, pentalobe does have some slight angle improvements, but it's 1 less of these attachments here, so just be aware of that. And in that regards, I think they changed one of these, so you get 2. I think it's a 0.8 and a 1.2 in a pentalobe, not Torx. So if you're thinking, oh, I wouldn't mind one of these and I'll get the Torx version, it isn't Torx, you'll have to get something else. So in regards to this item though, I've been very impressed so far. Here it is in my hand. Now bear in mind I'm quite tall, I'm about 6'4", but brilliant. I've carried this in my pocket. The clip is okay, but because this is plastic, I don't know how much give that's got. I certainly don't want to snap it, not after I've just got it, but it's okay. I didn't wear it on that clip because I thought, well, it's top heavy and I don't want this coming out of my pocket, so I literally just put it in my pocket, or I put it on one of these side compartments of my backpack that I use for work. It was fine in there, it was fine in my pocket. Even though it was in and out of my pocket, I thought this sort of section here would fill with dust. It hasn't, and there is a magnet in there. If you can get a good look there, you see that thing floating there, that is a magnet at the end of that internal channel. I don't work with a lot of metal machining and things like that, but if you do work in that environment, it's far enough away where it's not going to attract all the iron filings and things like that, because I've got a few magnetic charging solutions on flashlights, and if I go in certain environments, I don't like that, because you get the little iron filings and stuff and they stick on the damn magnets, and especially when you're using neodymium and things like that, in other words rare earth magnets, they're very powerful and you've got to scratch the damn stuff off. I hate that, but that's far enough away where it isn't going to make an issue. So you can see the magnet down the bottom there. You can see the dust slightly accumulating from all the carry that I've done, but other than that, it's been fine. And you can see it's like a hex profile, which is the exact profile of these blades here. So we'll take one of them out just so you can see. Now, in regards to how they're retained, there's like a rubber baffle. You see it there? It's cylindrical. Now, you can't take that out. I did take it out. I'll probably have to take these blades out to get it out. That just pushes down. You can see it in the middle there, it does come out though. And what happens is that gives enough resistance where these won't come out unless you use this cut out section and just push it up like that. And then you can retrieve the blade. And then when you put it in, it hits that resistance there, and then you just push it down and that's it. So you can see exactly which one it is. It's great. Or if you think, well, hang on, which one am I after? You can just do that, have a look and go, oh, right, that's the one I want. Line it up with the screw and go, right, I'll use that one, pull that out. So then you take them out and you just slot them in. Boom. And then obviously it hits the magnet at the end of that channel beautifully and it stays in. It's not massively heavily held in, but it's enough, but that's absolutely fine because this is a precision device. It's a precision screwdriver. You're not going to be using it with an impact driver or anything daft like that. It's just enough to hold it in there, and it fits beautifully. There's not a lot of play there. There's a tiny little bit, but it fits miraculously well. Typical PB Swiss stuff, extremely well machined. There's the blade there. They're saying that this, I think they quote this as spring steel. Now, the last time I used a load of spring steel, it was in like lock picking equipment. Spring steel's lovely for tensioners and things like that. It's got a lovely feedback feel to it. But in regards to screwdrivers, I was a bit worried. I thought, is that going to be strong enough? But they do harden the tips. And in regards to the tips, I'll give you a nice close-up. So here's the slotted. Everything's serial numbered, which is typical PB Swiss. So there's the slot there. Now I'm doing this in 4K, so feel free to zoom in and get a nice good look at this. If I can get it to focus there. So beautiful, as usual. It's not just like some wacko cheap chisel grind where it just comes to a ridiculous point. Because I used some Stanley precision screwdrivers recently, and it was a nightmare, absolute nightmare. Hated them. But this has a... Now I can't tell the difference when that hit goes from the spring to this black coating. You see it there? It's pretty good. They've done a good job. It's not just like some black stuff slathered over the top. So very impressed with that. And I'll show you all the heads actually. We'll take them out. So take them all out. So what do you get? Well, you get 3 of each. So let's have a look here and we'll go through them all. So Phillips. So you get a 0, a 00 and a 000. That's going to cover most of your precision work. So we'll put them in order there. That'll be in order. And let's get a nice close look. I haven't used all these heads. I've used 2 of them. I've used mainly that one and the central one there. So the one to the right and the one to the center. I'm going to rotate these so you can get a nice good look. Beautiful. I really like them. I had to do some work on a, what was the company's name? TP-Link camera. In fact, 2 of them. And the method they used for retaining SD cards was 2 Phillips, which, okay, it can be okay as long as the screw isn't too cheap. They were a little bit cheap. So I had to use I think it was a Stanley brand precision screwdriver. It was a nightmare. It was slightly too big, and I was in that horrible situation when you know you're using a head that is too big, and what's going to happen is you need to push hard enough to get the job done, but the harder you push, the more you're going to round the screw, and if you round it too much, you're never going to get that shifted. So I was in that horrible position where you're using the wrong tool for the damn job, and it was a bloody nightmare. Now with that in mind, if I'd had this, it would have been a lot better. I've used, like I say, the 2 larger ones I've used at work. I can't see anywhere on them. None. Even though they've got this black coating, there's maybe a tiny little bit of high spot in there. Tiny bit. But they've been brilliant. In regards to the slotted, you get a... Now they don't tell you on the website, but I think it's a 1.5, a 1.8 and a 2.5. How do I know that? Well, what I've done is I went and compared it to a load of PB Swiss heads and measured them up, and I'm pretty certain and confident that that's what these head sizes are. Again, I used the larger one. If I can get it to focus, apologies there. It's very difficult on the setup I've got here. There you go. So brilliant. They've been excellent, high quality. They just slot right in, and they're not one of those wacko chisel grinds where they come to a strange chisely point instead of actually having a slot. So it's a proper slotted, and I've got no problems with these quality wise. Feel great. They're all excellently well machined, and like I say, they just go straight into the magnet there. Click, that's it, and then you just do your work. In regards to grip, I like the PB Swiss grips, Swiss grip, which is beautiful stuff. I love this stuff. However, I mean, this is a special set. I'll review it sometime if people are really interested. In this regards, this isn't the Swiss grip. This is the see-through plasticky one. It does have that sort of Easter egg in that it does smell of vanilla. I don't know why they do that, but sometimes the reason I found out was because I was doing a little bit of precision work and I was sitting, and then I scratched my nose and I thought, what on earth's on my hand there? I haven't eaten anything all morning, so what's going on? And it's the vanilla smell that comes off these handles. I don't know why they do that. Maybe it's a thing you want to open a candle shop or something, or who knows. But it's there, and it just means that I guess on the copies you don't get that vanilla smell, so it's a way of stopping the knockoffs maybe, but it does have that vanilla smell. So we'll pop them all back and I'll show you what it looks like there. So they go straight back in there, pretty easy. There you go, just put it in with your thumb, boom, and then the next one in and in, boom, beautiful. So let's give this a mark. I have carried this for a number of weeks in my bag, in my pocket. I didn't wear it with the clip. I think the clip's okay. I probably wouldn't use that unless I was wanting to try and look like a right geek and have it in the top pocket or something of a shirt. I don't know. That option is there. I don't know how much I'd trust that, but it should be okay as long as you're just doing it at work and you're not, you know, running a marathon or something or climbing through bushes. This baffle is very simple and it works and it is removable. I don't know why it's removable, but you can take that out if you did want to. But like I say, just be aware, this is the V01 which I got. So you get 3 of the Phillips and 3 of the slotted. However, V02, you forgo 2 of these, and what happens is they'll give you a 0.8 and a 1.2, I think, of pentalobe. Not Torx, it's pentalobe. I just want to be very clear on that so people don't get it and say, you said it was Torx and it wasn't. It isn't Torx, okay? So if you remember, here's a Torx, there's Torx, different, okay, not pentalobe. So marks out of 10 for what it is, and bear in mind, you don't necessarily want to carry something like this around with you all the time. Something I can have on me, it doesn't take up a lot of room. It works, this system works, that tensioning works, it just feels well machined, it feels good in the hand. This grip is enough. You can see it's got a texture, I'll rotate it, you see it's got a texture, not much of a texture because this is hard, listen, this is hard plastic in comparison to something like the Swiss grips, which, listen, in fact I'll show you, if I press with my fingernail, there you see the difference? See how it's retaining the indentation slightly. Lovely, and the Swiss grip is lovely. This isn't Swiss grip, but I suppose by doing that, I would actually like them to see them do a slightly slimmed down Swiss grip version. Maybe just bring those closer together and make the head smaller. And it just works. And because this is nice and smooth, look, you can use it in like the rotation, you know, when you put it in your palm. It's obviously nowhere near as good as a proper one, where you would have the cap like that. And look, it rotates freely. You're just not going to get that on this, but it's a multifunctional device. So marks out of 10, I'm going to give this a 9. How could I improve this? Very difficult. Maybe try and get the softer Swiss grip, but is it really necessary? Probably not. I'm being picky there. Fit and finish, extremely good. Everything feels perfectly machined. These blades fit perfectly. I cannot spot a tiny little blemish anywhere. All the heads are perfect. They've been great in screws. They just go in. There's no wiggling about and you think, oh my God, am I going to strip this? Please, you know, Lord have mercy. Because you know what it's like when you're dismantling things and then you've got to put them back later on. You think, who stripped that? I'm going to, you know, hang them. So a beautiful piece of kit here. Very impressed with this. Handy to have and carry around, and not that expensive when you consider how nice it is. Maybe they could do like a special edition where they move these around a bit and have another one, so you could have even more heads. But then it just becomes, you know, how many heads do you want? Right, let's just also carry a backpack with 400 heads. I mean, it just becomes ridiculous. As a standard small little set that you can have in your pocket, 9 out of 10, excellent. Magnet's strong enough, does the job. It feels nice in the hand. I can't see any molding issues, or you know, when you get the little seams, there's nothing. Everything feels like a quality premium device. So well done to them, and you get that lovely vanilla smell if that's the sort of thing that you like. Okay, so spring steel, hardened tips. You get the 3 Phillips 0, 00 and 000, and then in regards to the slotted, I think, because I did check them against some other PB Swisses, you get a 1.5, a 1.8 and a 2.5. So that's going to let you do most of the precision work that you need to do. So PB Swiss tools 169.V01, V02 is available, but that isn't what this review. So well done. Anyway, thanks for joining me. If you want to see more tool stuff, let me know in the comments, because some people say, I love the tool stuff, and other people say, stop with that, get on with the flashlights. I appreciate that. So I do listen to the people on the channel, so let me know what you think. If there's other tools that you think, I want to have a look at that, I'll try and do it, because recommendations from people who actually use things, I highly prize. That's like gold dust to me, because a human being has used it and enjoyed it, rather than just some wacko reviewer saying, hey, this is brilliant, everything's brilliant, without actually showing you why it's brilliant. I'm not into that. So thanks for joining me. 9 out of 10, well done PB Swiss. Another really good banger you've come out with there. Good job, lads, and thank you very much for joining me. Goodbye.